Hey guys, we're back with another video for you guys. I figure I should have recorded this when it occurred, but obviously I did not video when it occurred. Sometimes you just don't think about video and everything, but here we go. A couple weeks ago we were in Georgia and we ran into a problem with these trailer tires. Come to find out, Bia Ply tires are not necessarily a good long trip tire. You need more of a radial tire, and based on this last trip we took, it was really recommended that we go that route with the radial tire. If you don't know what radial versus a Bia Ply is, I would say this, and I'll compare it to motorcycle tires. Let's say, for instance, the Shinkos that I run on my bike. Shinkos aren't necessarily durable tire that will last a long time. That's kind of like what a Bia Ply is. It's good for like around town, short trips. And I wouldn't say necessarily short trips, because I use that to go on trips various places throughout the United States. So what I would say is it's not going to last as long. Now, you may get out of the Shinko, you may get 10,000 miles, whatever the case may be. And I would make that kind of equivalent to the Bia Ply. Bia Ply is necessarily on a trailers to run around town, short spurts, and do what you got to do. Now, on the other hand, we'll go back to a motorcycle tire. If you get Dunlops or Michelins, those are somewhat, they will extend the life of the tire, meaning that instead of doing 10,000 miles, they may do 20,000 miles, let's say, just to give you an example. And those would be equivalent to radial tires. Radial tires are made for long trips, and they last much longer than a Bia Ply tire. So when we went on this trip last time, we had Bia Ply tires. When I pulled over to the gas station to get gas, I realized, hey, the trailer's a little weebly wobbly, a little sway when we drive. And when I got out, normally I check and see what's going on with the trailer, and if the bike has gotten unloosened with the ratchet straps, and I go back there. So obviously when I went out back to open up the door, the tire was flat. And we went through the motions of that. So now that we got a trip coming up, or better yet, I'll probably post. I got an opportunity to go get the bike in North Carolina, and I definitely was not going to use those Bia Ply tires again. So what I did was I, get on eBay, Craigslist, and see if anybody can, get me a tire here quickly. I didn't necessarily want to go the route of getting the rim and the tire, because that's expensive, man. It seemed like for one tire, people want, like, I would say ranging in between 140 to like 175 for one tire and the wheel. Obviously the wheel be new, but I'm not willing to go that route. Why have a rim when you can just put the tire on? So on eBay, I went and got a set of radial tires for like 145, and I put those on. Then I found a guy here locally, and the thing about being local, you can get what you want in some cases. So locally, I got this tire, which matched what I have on the outside. So I was like, that's cool. And I paid $125 for that. So that's even better than getting it new. And then as a backup, just in case all those blew up, I have this one Bia Ply tire just to run, just in case anything were to happen. So I just kept that on here, which I'll probably put that on my open trailer. So that's what I did, man. And the ride was great. Only thing I'll say about it, hey, if it's your trailer, get radial tires, man. And what I noticed too, the ones that I had on here, which were Bia Plys, I got the wheel setting was 205 75D 15. So if you know anything about tires, that first number of 205, if you get a number that's much larger than 205, the tire is going to be a little wider. So instead of getting the 205s, we got 225s, which gives me a little more wider track. I would say if this one is just a guesstimate, if that one is like 6 inches wide, then the Bia Ply, which is a little more cheaper, which is a 205, it was probably 4 inches wide of, connection to the ground. So that's what I went with, was the 225 17 R15. And when we drove, man, you could tell the difference pretty much instant. When we first started, they were all new tires. It took a little time for them to get in. It rode a little rough, but after time, it's gotten that flat spot on it, and they got up to temperature they rode really good, man. On those Bia Plys, I was able to, we drove maybe 60, 65, and the trailer was squirrely. But when we put these on, man, I believe I could have gone 80, but I'm a kind of cautious guy. If I feel some squirreliness going on, I'm slowing down. But I pretty much put it on cruise control at 75, and she rode straight. Now, obviously, I'm pulling it with the Tacoma, and the Tacoma isn't necessarily has a wide track itself. It's kind of, it's that narrow look. So, with that said, like I say, man, the Tacoma to me is a great pull, and I almost thought I was gonna have to trade it in and get me an F-150, but it pulls very well. Yeah, it has a high RPM gauge where it pulls at, and it's, a lot of people say that it searches for gears. I don't necessarily think it searches for gears. It's just a high rev and the RPM range just to pull stuff, but it does well, man. After this trip, we went up to North Carolina through the mountains. Yeah, when we go up the hill, it was changing gears to keep it going, but ultimately, I felt it did a good job, and it kind of renewed my love for it. I always wanted a Tacoma just to have, especially back in the 80s and the early 90s when everybody was lowering them down, but I like it, and it gives you that option of 4x4. Nowadays, these trucks are expensive, man. I'm not willing to pay somebody almost 50 G's, 45, whatever it is, to get the truck that I want. So with this said, I like the Tacoma, man. It's a smaller truck. You can navigate it much better than a bigger truck, and I don't have to worry about some of the things that they deal with. But anyways, back to the trailer. Blue Tiger is doing very well, man. Hopefully, after doing this trip, we can get into some other opportunities with, at least picking people's bike up if they're down or need a trailer, whatever the case may be. But I just want to get to you guys about those tires. So if you have a trailer, I would say invest in those Radial tires, especially if you're going on a long trip, and do what you got to do. So until next time, guys, we'll see you, and I'll keep you posted.